26th of March came around and it changed pretty much everyone's world. Certainly from a real estate perspective, and I'm not going to labor on this, but it was extremely difficult for all of you and extremely difficult for your agents. I think naturally because they weren't able to get mandates and put sales through, although some of you did during that period, which is remarkable, but more so because the peripheral organizations around us weren't operating like the municipal offices and the deeds offices. And I know that there are still some agents out there that are waiting on commission that haven't earned an income for many months. And I want to state that I've never seen anything like this before. I mean, I've only lived through the 2007 in the real estate, 2007, 2008 crash. Some of you went through the 99, 2000 as well, but you know, at least during those periods, we were at least still able to box a little bit inside of that space, whereas right now our hands were literally tied behind our backs. Anyway, I don't want to focus on the negative. I just wanted to point out that the world changed on the 26th of March, 2020 for most South Africans. You know, we sent our staff home on the 16th of March. It was actually my birthday. And I anticipated there being some sort of a lockdown, having spoken to our counterparts in the United States and around the world, especially Italy actually was first hit. So we learned a lot on those international calls like this. We were doing Zoom calls, and there were 150 participants, all region owners from around the world. We learned a lot from those guys that went before us as such. And Italy was initially the hardest hit. So I was careful choice of words, but I guess fortunately we were able to learn from them. We were able to put some measures in place. That's why our guys went home on the 16th of March. And in fact, many of you won't know this, we haven't been back to the office. So in 6 days' time, my whole team would have been operating remotely for 6 months and still delivering the services that they're currently doing across the spectrum, from finance to IT to marketing to et cetera, et cetera. Learned a few lessons in this period. I don't think it will stay that way, and I know it won't stay that way in the future, but certainly might become a hybrid way of working in the future. And maybe not in this session, but in maybe next month we can talk about that, what that looks like from a franchisee's point of view. So we had to start learning about things like washing our hands. I mean, I never thought we'd be putting flyers out to our people as to how to wash their hands and how to sanitize, but all of a sudden it became really important. So our marketing team and our compliance team got together and we had to put workplace plans in place, and you know, viewings when that got unlocked. That was only 3rd of June, mind you, but how viewings would happen and wearing of masks. I mean, this is all, if you had to tell yourself this story last year this time, you would have checked yourself into a lunatic asylum. But you know, here we are. It's what's the cliche at the moment? It's our new normal. So we put a whole bunch of this stuff out early on. I mean, really, face masks. I know Remax brand stuff. I mean, I've even seen Remax branded underpants before. Not that I have any, but I never thought we'd have Remax branded face masks out there. And there were lots of these versions and different versions, etc. But yeah, that was Vicky and I doing a model shoot at home. When we thought, you know, when we all thought lockdown, it's going to be what? I don't know, 3 weeks, max 5 weeks. Yeah, moving on. You know, what we said to ourselves is, well, yeah, we're in a lockdown situation from a regional office perspective, but we need to continue providing support. And I remember Nick Christelis telling me when we were going through the last recession or crash, and he said that there's 3 things that you need to be doing during that period as leaders, as a leader and as leaders, and that's obviously you, and that's training, presence, and communication. 3 things people are looking for. The presence part's a little bit difficult under these circumstances, so I guess the only way you can do presence is using technology like we have here. Communication, you know, upping the communication levels, because, you know, out of sight, out of mind is a fact, it's a reality. So upping the communication levels, some of them business related, some of them more personal related. In fact, in those middle stages of lockdown, a lot of the communication was more emotive than it was training, because it's a little bit frustrating getting told how to sell a property when you can't walk out your front door. So a lot of it was more emotional support. And I saw a lot of you doing this with your sales associates as well, which is great, because that's exactly what they needed, the nurturing. So we implemented something called the daily dose. It was, I ran out of material because I thought it was only going to be 3 weeks worth. So we had to improvise a little bit. But it really was just to get a daily message out, some of it motivational, some of it inspirational, and some of it maybe just a bit of fun, to get people to think about not just their business, but working on themselves as well. And I don't know, it seemed to go down fairly well, but and it's something we have continued just in a different format. And again, I know a lot of you did similar types of things. You might not have given it a name, but I know a lot of you did, so well done for that. We implemented something called the Timeout with Remax. So this was about a month into lockdown. In fact, the first one, we didn't have a name for it, was Rusty Labuschaghni's talk. And it was at that point I felt that that was a pertinent message. I mean, we replayed, for those that didn't see it, we replayed his talk that he did at Sun City 2 or 3 years, I forget now, I think it was 2 years ago. And it was about determination, passion, grit, etc. And it was a message that that everybody, I think, needed to hear at that time. And then we continued that with different speakers, etc., just to, again, stimulate people's thoughts, get them to still stay in the mode of real estate and, again, working on themselves. But as you'll see, even from the people on the screen, most of the talks weren't real estate related. Most of them were working on yourself. So, you know, in those 2 months, so we were in a hard lockdown for roughly 2 months, right? 26th of March to 3rd of June, more or less, give or take. I would say my team at the regional office probably worked harder in that period than they did in the previous 3 months. And that's not to say they didn't work in the first 3 months. It's just the amount of effort that went in was huge. I mean, I take my hat off to my people, and a huge applause for what you guys did to keep people going. We were doing stuff behind the scenes that you might not have seen, but you're now seeing being put out into the network. You know, the more reasons to choose Remax document was updated. We took the This is Remax training and we went public with it. So we edited a lot of that training. We went public with it. There was a bit of debate around whether we should or shouldn't, but certainly it paid off. If you look at the number of people that joined Remax in that period. What else happened in that period? I got really frustrated is what happened in that period with all the lobbying and writing to government and to the Command Council, which seemingly seemed to fall on deaf ears. You know, you got the sort of nodding of head service, but nothing happening on the back end. And it was really frustrating. I mean, Remax was doing a lot of work. Rebosa formed another organization, and the name slips my head right now, but another organization that lobbied with government. And I don't know if that had an impact, but ultimately on the 3rd of June, we came out of lockdown. But I just know that that period was really, really frustrating. It was frustrating for me. It was frustrating for you. But yeah, as I say, we weren't sitting on our hands. There was certainly a lot going on behind the scenes. I mean, at one point, just to give you some perspective, at one point, I was talking to the South African ambassador to Germany to help us to get real estate out of level 4 lockdown. So, and what does he have to do with real estate? Absolutely nothing. But I was just trying all connections that I had. So what do we learn from this period? Now, before we just, it is good to reflect, because before we move on and look forward. But I saw this in 2008, and probably so did you, when it comes to your sales associates, people you work with, friends and family as well, even, is that it's true. A person's true nature is revealed at times of the greatest adversity. You know, their character comes through at that time. Your character doesn't get built necessarily during that time, but it certainly is revealed. And fortunately, our core of broker owners and our core of sales associates stood up, were counted. And I mean, what do I say? When you look at some of the numbers that I'm going to show you in a few minutes' time, it's evident. You know, we had planned to lose 200 agents. and I know that's a lot, but we planned to lose 200 agents in the first month of lockdown, 200 agents in the second month, and a further 100 every month following from that. And you may go, well, why would you do that? Well, it's because in 2009, that's exactly what happened. We went from 2,100 agents to, unfortunately, we did the planning for it then as well, but we went from 2,100 agents to 1,300 in the space of 14 months. So, it seemed that you could see the writing on the wall as to what was going to happen. That's what we planned for. Yet we had an agent net growth during that period. And well, you'll see the numbers of sales just post that period as well. I'm grateful. Sounds odd, but I'm grateful for that period, and hopefully you are as well. I mean, I got to spend a lot more time with my family, that's for sure. So there's one thing I'm grateful for. Sometimes I'm not grateful when the kids aren't at school, but generally I was grateful for that time. And what I certainly am grateful for is the company that I'm affiliated with. I spoke to my counterparts, competitors, during that period. And the stories that I was hearing, and let's call them some of the horror stories that I was hearing, I wasn't necessarily able to relate to because we weren't having the same experiences. Yes, I know our agents were having a tough time not earning an income. I know our brokers were having a tough time because they weren't getting paid by agents either through comm or through fixed fees. But notwithstanding that, some of the stories I heard from competitors and the layoffs and the retrenchments and the salary cuts and closures of offices and agents leaving the industry, I can't say we had the same experience as what they did. And I can only attest to that being the people that we have in this organization, our brokers, our managers, and our sales associates. So I'm grateful for that. And that's because of the leadership that's there. And I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. It is what it is. We do have some of the best leaders in real estate, which is why Remax is pulling away from its competition. So, all that together, I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for you, and I appreciate everything you guys have done and are still doing, because it's not like we're out of this. We're only now having to roll our sleeves up and are pretty much in the thick of it. But yeah, it was really encouraging seeing what you guys were all doing for your people as well. So here's some of those numbers, right? This is through the years. By the way, if I learned something on Zoom the other day, if you want to make this bigger or smaller on your screen, there's a little vertical bar on the right-hand side. And if you drag left or right, you can either make the PowerPoint bigger, or you don't want to make me bigger. So to make PowerPoint bigger on your screen if you want to. So here's some of those numbers. We had a hell of a lot of new members join, but through this period, through April, May, June, and now obviously July, we didn't see a drop off. We also saw a lot of reactivations, which I'll share with you in a second. So there it is. So for this year so far, we've had 110 reactivations. And just if you look at March, where are we here? March 20, we had 22 people join. A lot of those were actually in the last week of March when we went into a hard lockdown. It got a bit quieter during the period, naturally, but almost immediately after that, we had a whole host of reactivations. If you what's a reactivation? Someone that left Remax, went on their own, went somewhere else, and have now come back. And that for me is huge. That's encouraging. That means that what you're offering is certainly better than what's out there in the market space. So yeah, I was very, very encouraged to see that. This is something that Shauna Gilbert, who heads up, I guess, Remax outside of North America. So she's the person that through Chip that I would talk to about what's happening around the world, and she's responsible for all the regions. And she put this up very early in lockdown. I would say probably in our lockdown anyway. I would say mid-April to end April. And it was a question was, what if, and it was a big what if, but what if in 2020, everyone had their best year ever? Some people were struggling to identify with that, including myself. When you're lobbying with government and getting nowhere, when you can't list the property, when you can't sell, you struggle to take this in. But that slide was put up on the screen. And I want to come back to that later, because now looking at things retrospectively, I would say that is very much on and can be on. Will it take a lot of hard work? Absolutely. Will we have to knock the socks off in terms of listings and sales and recruiting? Yes, absolutely. But I've already seen those green shoots, and I've seen more than just green shoots. I've seen you guys and your sales associates absolutely knock it out the park over the last month and a half. So I do want to come back to that question a little bit later, and hopefully maybe you've asked yourself that. In fact, at some point I had a discussion with one of our brokers in Durban, it was Grant, and sadistically we were going, wow, this period is quite interesting. I wonder if it goes on a little bit longer, will we survive and others won't? And if we survive, if we're the last man standing through this lockdown period, you know, maybe this is actually our year. Maybe this is actually the year that we absolutely accelerate away from others. So what if in 2020 everyone had the best year ever? Just keep it in your memory bank for a second. So 3rd of June came, and 3rd of June came, everybody was happy. Geez, there were flipping emotional tears on my side at one point. It's like this weight just gets taken off your shoulder, and a weight that, and I'm sure you had the same experience. And it was a weight that almost you put on your own shoulders. You weren't put in, you didn't put yourself into that situation. You were thrust or forced into it. And I'm sure for many of you, 3rd of June was like a bit of relief. But that's when the hard work only really started, right? Getting out there and understanding how to operate in that space. You know, we put some signs. I mean, technically we were already back in business. A lot of you had been doing listings in the background and with subject to viewings and offers with subject to viewings, etc. But we just felt, you know, excited to be able to do what we do on a day-to-day basis. So we put some collateral out on that as well. And absolutely, we were very much back in business from an activity point of view. What do our sales associates, what did our net growth or increase look like? Well, there you have it. This is a snapshot. This was at one point 67 agent growth. In fact, our net growth at its highest point during that period was 76. We grew by 76 agents during that period. Now, bear in mind that I had planned for a loss of 200, and bear in mind that almost all our competitors lost agents over that period. And so did we. I mean, we lost a number of agents over that period, unfortunately, due to circumstances. But fortunately, we had a lot of rejoins and reactivations. And again, that's a testament not just to the brand, but it's to what you guys do on a daily basis and did through that period. To get your people through motivation or inspiration. And sometimes it was pulling teeth and it was dragging them through to get to the other side, but you did that. And what flowed from that was the sales. Now, when you look at this out of context, you know, if I had to show this to someone in a bubble, you know, we'll go, oh, but it's 19% down from a reported sales point of view. But if I show you the month-on-month numbers, you'll understand, and probably if you look at your own month-on-month numbers, you'll understand that that is pretty impressive, considering you were taken out of the game for 2 months, and in reality it was probably more than 2 months, just with trying to get back operationally. So that's what it looks like on a month-on-month basis. And you know, we were looking pretty good in the first 3 months, Jan, February, March, and then naturally took a massive dip. The red is 2019, the blue is 2020, massive dip in April and May. I was still actually surprised that any sales took place during that period, but there you go. There were some sales that took place. In June, it started to pick up. Obviously, we came out of 3rd of June, and then July was, I don't know what you guys had for breakfast every day in the month of July, but that was phenomenal. I mean, it was just really unheard of. So congratulations to all of you and to all your sales associates. Registered sales, well, this is where it hurts a little bit, right? Because, you know, again, most of this is out of your control. And once the deal's done, it's headed off to the deeds office, where there's a closed sign on the door for, you know, 1 out of for 50% of the time. So naturally, that's why it's 34% down on the same period last year. But like I said, the pipeline is there. So hopefully that money will start flowing over the next few months if we can keep all the deeds office doors and municipal doors open for long enough. Yeah, I've never seen this before, but I thought I'd put it on there. So obviously, look here, the blue line was above last year, blue line above last year, blue line above last year. Everybody doing particularly well in the first 3 months, and then bam, April dropped to, and I don't even know how we got registrations in April. So that's probably a few offices that forgot to submit their stuff in March because there was lockdown, but it dropped to there. And just look at May. May was, I think the number was 110,000 in registered sales. And again, that's probably just someone that forgot to put something in March. And your office probably looked exactly the same. And you're wondering to yourself, how long is this going to last? When is this going to come out? Obviously we started helping some offices out there and giving advice. Well, we were giving advice through the whole period, but it's just impossible to operate on that basis. Unfortunately, like I said, 3rd of June, things slowly started turning around, and we hope that August, September, October, and onwards, those registrations will start coming through. So that period there, sure. Well, that's why so many real estate offices around the country closed. And I don't want to mention names because it's not right to do, but some of our larger competitors, retrenched a number of people in their organization and a number of top people through their organization, and closed a lot of branches across the country. You just have to pick up the papers. Who picks up the paper? You just have to pick up News 24 or these online papers, if you like, just see how many mergers are taking place at the moment as well. So, in that is an opportunity for our broker owners, and things just we need to keep an eye out, because there might be an opportunity to absorb some of these agents, the ones you want anyway, into our operation. So I wanted to see what was happening the other day. Because I just couldn't handle this whole, especially Cape Town. I know other deeds offices have been affected, but Cape Town has been, so far, certainly been the worst. So I thought I'd go and look at it for myself. So I went to take a photo, and there's my photo of the Cape Town deeds office. Well, that's what it seems like. Anyway, this is being recorded, by the way, so I've got to be careful what I say. But damn, if I was being paid 100% salary for sitting at home, I might be incentivized to continue to stay at home. Hashtag just saying. Anyway, moving on. I thought I'd show you the millionaires. Remember, this is the target we set for ourselves at the beginning of this year, was to have 400 commission-based millionaires by the end of the year. And naturally, it took a hit. I mean, obviously here, it took a massive dip. It's to be expected. But I reckon we can get back. I mean, if you look at these first few months, that red line was our target. The green line was last year. We were well ahead of last year's numbers, and just about on track with a pretty out there target. And then we took a dip. But I reckon this can be turned around. When you look at the sales that are happening right now, that pipeline being filled up, I hope to see a V-shaped recovery, a V-shaped, i.e. up and straight back up, down and straight back up again, recovery. So I reckon we should still set our sights there. Just towards the end of lockdown, with some of these videos that I was doing, I said we do need to reset our sights, reset our goals. But it doesn't mean that we need to adjust our goals significantly downwards. It just means we need to adjust our activity significantly upwards. And again, fortunately, most sales associates seem to have done that. So we did have some record sales, right? In July, I said it already. I mean, I was getting WhatsApps and SMSs from brokers, in fact, from agents as well, going, oh, this is my best week ever in July. Second week in July is my best week ever that I've had. We had an office in Durban, and I only know this because it was sitting on Facebook, that they did almost 3 times their monthly average in recorded or reported sales. And that, I think it was Remax Panache. And some of you might have had similar experiences. And forgive me if I didn't put your picture up there. I just saw this one on Facebook. But what I do know is that across the board in July, it was 2.4 billion is the highest we've ever had. And if you had to have told me that in April, that would happen in July, again, I would have sent you to the lunatic asylum, because there's no ways I would have predicted that. And I don't think many people would have predicted that. And yes, I know our competitors have also seen an uptick in terms of sales and so on, but I stand to be corrected here, but I don't think anything as significant as that when you consider that our average, monthly average is around 1.8, 1.9 billion. So, couple of things to share with you before I tell you what our marketing team and tech team and so on has been up to. This period has, obviously it's been tough. It's been difficult on all of you. It's been difficult on your sales associates. I'm not going to go down that road again. But what we need to do is not get stuck in that mindset. You know, obviously when you go into tough times, especially financially, you look at the income statement, you go, okay, where can I cut? Where do I cut? Where do I make adjustments? Where can I change? Where do I chop and I did the same thing. I mean, with the Everybody Wins business and the ad fund, we took a red pen to it and went, okay, let's cut all the peripheral stuff out to make sure that we can continue to run the business with a financial base, with some sort of base. And you probably did the same. And you probably also, from your perspective, looked at, well, which agents do I have? You know, who's going to make it through this? Who can I see is not going to make it? Who do I need to ask to leave, unfortunately, and who can I continue with? And it's good that you do that. It's good that you prune and you cut. But at the same time, we also need to grow because that's how we operate. That's what Remax is. It's about growth. And when I talk about growth, I don't mean, I say this often, I don't mean just adding people. I mean, that's one way, is adding people. But I'm talking about developing people as well. So if you look at a plant, and by the way, I don't have green fingers, so I had to research this stuff. But there's a couple of things that a plant needs to grow and to thrive. And two of those things would be water and sunlight, right? Hopefully you all got that. I mean, even my terrible gardening skills will tell you that a plant needs water and sunlight to grow. And if you give it a little bit of nurturing, well, then you get a healthy and sustainable plant as well. And something that would grow into a great fruit tree or a great flowering plant or whatever it may be. And now I'm out of my depth, so I'm going to move away from the plant analogy. But essentially a plant needs those three things, certainly water and sunlight, and maybe a little bit of love and care to create a healthy plant or a healthy fruit tree. And it's similar with agents. I mean, I know this is very simplistic, but I'm just trying to illustrate a point. Agents need mandates, they need qualified buyers, not just anybody, and they need closing skills. You put those three things together, it means the deal is done with a lot of stock, a lot of buyers, and you get happy agents because obviously they get paid at the end of the day. I know it's simplistic, but I'm going somewhere with this. What do brokers need? Brokers need to keep the good agents that they have. They need to get new agents, but they need to develop everyone. And certain people need different skills and need different attention. Some need motivation, some need training, some need skills transfer. And I'm not just talking about agents, I'm talking about your staff as well. You know, all of a sudden they were told to work from home for 2 months and possibly for longer. Possibly those staff are still working from home. You would have had to teach them new ways of operating and engaging, and you would have had to learn new ways to engage. But when it comes to a sustainable and a profitable office, those two things specifically, keeping the good people you have and getting new agents on board, are what's going to grow your business. So yes, we need to make the cuts and the changes, and you've probably already done that. If you haven't, well, you're probably not on this call. You need to do that, but we mustn't take our eye off the ball when it comes to growth as well. Someone said the other day, I think it was one on the global region call, said it well. You know, my job is to recruit my agents every day. That's what we need to be doing. And now even more so, with less interaction, less physical interaction. You know, the whole management by walking around becomes an interesting concept right now because there's no one there to manage when you're walking around the office. But that doesn't mean it doesn't happen. You just have to find a different way. So we need to continue to recruit the agents we have, and we need to take the blinkers off and look left and right, because I can tell you those opportunities are there. Not just with the people that are rejoining Remax, the reactivations, but with those other offices, our competitors. And, you know, my mom's Afrikaans, her saying is the eerste dood is die ander se brood. For the Durban people, that means, you know, one person's, I guess, misery could be another person's opportunity, definitely exists in this market. And we need to be aware of that and be constantly looking to grow, I guess is what I'm saying. So you do that enough times and you get something that looks like this, right? You just hit that repeat button over and over. And it's going to take a little bit, like I said, it's going to be a little bit different from the past because it's not physical, it's not here. That's why we need to develop new skills to reach our people using Zoom and using other tech, or using social media, which is why we created a lot of this collateral, this recruiting material for Facebook posts and Instagram posts, etc. We created flyers around this. Hopefully some of you have used it. If you don't know where it is, it's on the hub. If you don't know what that is, you've got a business development consultant, they'll tell you. But we created a whole bunch of this recruiting material for you guys to use. We even did email signatures, just as, you know, every time you send a mail to someone, it's a little reminder at the bottom that Remax is an option for them. So we were very much focused around that, even down to the point of bringing back, recreating and bringing back the Missing You campaign. I don't know how many of you have seen this, but this would obviously be targeted marketing to someone that maybe was with Remax and is somewhere else at the moment. So hopefully you get that. Missing You, right? Okay, never mind. So go check it out. It's sitting on the hub and it's there for you guys to all use. So I wanted to have a little bit of fun around this as well. You know, our business driver is two things, just like yours. Our business driver is net growth of agents and sales. That's it. And I know there's lead indicators that feed into that, but ultimately it's how many people have joined on a head count, and the people that you have, how much have they sold? I mean, that's essentially what your business is as well. So I want to ask you, who here would like to go to the Remax R4 convention in Las Vegas at some point? At the moment, it's scheduled for the end of February, beginning of March next year. If not, we'll do it the year after. But just a quick show of hands. If you could get a ticket there for free, who would like to go? Okay, so you have an opportunity to do that because we want to have a little bit of fun around this with some key metrics. And here's the thing, everybody has an opportunity to win. It's not just the big offices this time. Everybody's got an opportunity to win. So here's the competition. A net agent growth. We want to know which offices have the biggest net agent growth, and I'll give you the period in a sec, biggest net agent growth in the period. We split it into three categories, three office categories. So an office of size of 1 to 10 agents, offices that are 11 to 30, and offices that are 31 plus. And just to clarify, it's based on the quota in your franchise agreement. So, you know, if you're meant to have 15 and you only have 5, well, you need to be in quota before you can qualify. You can't grow by 3 and still be way behind. And the reverse is also true. So net agent growth in those different office categories, and we're giving away 3 25,000 Rand vouchers to get to that. And you can use it for yourself, or you can incentivize someone in your team. How you use it is up to you. Okay, so net agent growth. Then also, we want to do the most sole mandates per agent. So in other words, the average in your office, the most sole mandates per agent in similar categories, you know, office sizes of 1 to 10, 11 to 30, and 31 plus. And again, 3 25,000 Rand vouchers. I'll explain to you just a sec how we get to that average, because I'm sure you're all wondering. And then, yeah, okay, there is something for the bigger office as well, which is just a pure numbers thing. The office with the most sole mandates at X point in time, and the office that recruits the most, not necessarily net agent growth. The other one is net agent growth. This one is the one that recruited the most in that same period, would each get a 25,000 Rand voucher to use towards R4. Again, you can give it to who you want. So what's the criteria? If you can't see it on your screen, make it a bit bigger, but otherwise the comp's already started, just so you know. You're the first to hear about it, but we're doing it retrospectively. We started it when the August billing period opened. So that's the snapshot start date. The recruiting prize is only new to Remax recruits, not transfers across, etc., or reactivations even. It's someone that hasn't been with Remax before will count towards the recruiting prizes. The competition closes on the December A billing period. So December A, I forget now, I think it's probably going to be roughly the 6th, 7th December, somewhere around there. You'll hear it later, but that's when the competition will close. And that's when we take the snapshot of the sole mandates, because that's the only way we can work this out. So on the X of December, when the billing closes, we'll go, how many sole mandates does your office have, and divide it by the average number of sales associates that you had during that period. So that will calculate for August, September, October, November, and then obviously for December. So you could win everything. To be honest, you could win the prize for having the net agent growth and the most sold mandates per agent and the most sold mandates and all most recruited. So it's up to you, but at least here's an opportunity for everybody to get something, and an opportunity for you to get to Vegas. So before I go on to what's happening in market, and if you want more details on that, you can email me, or probably email me is probably the best. But I will share this presentation and the talk afterwards as well if you want to revisit it. But I want to switch over to, I want to stop sharing for a sec. I want to switch over to Carl Coetzee, and I'm going to try and find him on my screen here because there are so many people on the screen. I'm going to ask him to unmute. And Carl, I'm going to pass over to you to share what's happening in your space. Give me one sec, and there you go. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Adrian. And hello, everyone, and thank you very much for the opportunity to talk to you this morning. I think Adrian has said a lot of very true things this morning. And another cliche that we can talk about is this very interesting market that we currently find ourselves in. And some people call it the Corona coaster. And it has certainly been a roller coaster ride, I think, from all of us. So, from the hard lockdown days of being so worried about what's going to happen with the market to where we are now. And I'll show you a couple of slides just now. I'll share my screen just now, a couple of slides on some of the things that we're currently seeing in the market. But, currently we're seeing the biggest amount of intake or new submissions we've seen in 12, 13 years. So from very low to this very high at the moment. And we're very fortunate that that's happening from being quite concerned in the beginning. And I'll show some of those market indicators just now. Initially, when the sort of June numbers hit and we saw the increase, I thought, well, this is just pent up demand and things will start to flatten out. And we sort of actually saw it already. May starting to increase, June increasing some more, and I'll show some numbers just now, July being an exceptional month. And I think this has moved from our thinking around this is just pent-up demand to probably the biggest reason is this low interest rate environment that we find ourselves in. So interest rate dropping by 30% in this past sort of 6 months, and definitely some evidence that is driving a lot of the market stuff at the moment. And I think there's three factors that is driving this demand that we're currently sort of noticing. Firstly is the first-time home buyers. If you think about this, 30% drop in interest rate makes it 30% more affordable to own a home. And I think, definitely what we're seeing is that this market is starting to swell. So not just the normal entrance in the market, but the market is getting a little bit bigger because of more people qualifying to buy homes. And that's certainly a positive outlook for us. We're also seeing a bigger portion of first-time buyers coming into the market. And again, I'll show you some numbers just now. Existing homeowners, I think we've all been stuck in our homes for a good period, 3 months, 4 months already. And we are starting to see some of those buyers now saying, hey, I need to upgrade my home. I can afford a little bit more of a more expensive house. And we think that will be the sort of second driver of demand. And then the third one is the investor market. So across the world, we're seeing investors, playing quite a big role at the moment. Low interest rate environment again, and with property being, still quite a strong asset class, in the world. We think that's a sort of third factor that will drive demand in this sort of environment. But that being said, let me share my screen with you, and I'm going to show you a couple of our numbers currently that we're seeing. And hopefully you find that useful. And then also just sort of trying to give you a view of what we think the future will hold for us. Very difficult to predict, but let's see if we can get that right. I'm going to put that up. Assuming you can see, if Adrian can just give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Okay, beautiful. Thank you. Okay, so let's get into it. The first slide I'm going to show you is, this is a daily view of mortgage applications submitted into our business. So it's working days at the bottom. And you can see the sort of light blue line is our last year volumes, and what this has done now since we come out of lockdown. So you can see in the beginning of June how that happened, and then just the number just escalating and escalating. And June saw us getting 51% more intake, more mortgage application submissions than what we did last year this time. And we had a particularly good year last year. July followed a similar trend, sort of 49% if you take that average. But obviously the volumes are incredible at the moment. And I think some of you might even feel it a little bit in our service delivery. We, from being at home, worrying about where's the next deal going to come from, to us working around the clock, literally. I saw people submitting deals this morning at 2 o'clock, just trying to keep up with the demand around submitting deals. But this is a very positive view. I'm very happy to see, that the volumes are particularly going in that way. Just quickly, grants is a bit of a different view. This is summarized in weeks, again showing you sort of from June to where we are now. And you can see, even though we had high demand in the beginning of June, we could see still the banks were struggling to get through the volumes, doing a little bit below what we did last year. And now we can sort of see this number getting better and better and better. And sort of towards the last week of July, just, we know we have a good month end. We can see those numbers, even our grant numbers, being way above what we expected or what we did last year. Even into August, this is looking good. Third, what I want to show you is quickly registrations. And this is the one that we, and I think particularly all of you are concerned about, and to Adrian's point a little bit earlier, and what we want to see there, again, sort of a weekly view. And what you can see here is registrations obviously being low, and we know all those reasons for that. But if you look sort of from the middle of July, you can start seeing that these registrations are slowly but surely getting better and better and better as capacity in the deeds office is increasing. And very interesting, I think some of the numbers that you might not be aware of yet is that our beginning of August numbers are particularly good. You can see well above to what we did last year. So you can see more and more of this big pipeline of business are now starting to register. So it's certainly moving in the right direction. And we'll be quite keen to see where this ends in August. But it does certainly look good at the moment. Okay, so here's a couple of numbers that I thought you might find interesting. And it's just sort of showing the light gray numbers is pre-lockdown number. So what we did in March of this year, and then what this looks in July. Now, it's only July numbers are only July, so it's only 1 month worth of numbers. So we'll see that smoothing out. But quite interesting to see that the average purchase price that we are recording is up sort of from those numbers to 1.3, up 9% that we're currently seeing in July. So, where a lot of us expected the purchase prices will come down, currently in our numbers, we're not seeing that. Average loan amounts, similar trend, up 9%. From March to June, or July rather, so that's looking good. And then the average loan to value requested, and you can see very, very similar numbers, March and July, and then the approved rate as well. So sort of 10% deposits that we're currently seeing and that the banks are currently approving. So in that sort of space, also some positive results. We expected the banks to pull back a lot more than what they did. And we can see the banks are still doing their bit. I spoke earlier about the first-time buyer market, and I think this is where we'll see the biggest growth if we look at what's going to happen in the future. And you can see 67% in July, so up from 64%, so up 4.5% in terms of first-time buyers. If I looked, this is sort of an average for July. If I looked at the last little bit of July, that first-time buyer market went up to about 70, some days creeping above 70% of our total intake of first-time buyers. So you can see that market is getting bigger and bigger. The purchase price also increasing, very nice increase there for 12% up. What we're seeing in that market, and the average loan amount also up 8% from pre and post lockdown figures. So very, very strong behavior we can see from our first time buyers. And the last sort of slide in this space, approval ratio. So you can see the approval ratio down slightly from the March numbers. We haven't seen a big decline in the banks, but the banks did, and they have implemented new scorecards, obviously looking at some of the industries that they are concerned about and pulling a little bit back on that lending. So from a 70% to 65%, we're seeing the approval rates in July also increasing daily. And we can see probably that number getting back to the 70% like we used to. Average rate difference, and this is quite an interesting number. So pre-lockdown, a 0.58% difference, and that's the difference between what the banks are offering. So if we apply to all the banks and we get 4 approvals back, that's the sort of difference from the highest and the lowest in that rate difference. We're seeing that increasing, and that's just a result of the banks having quite a different view on the market they want to take. We saw FNB pulling back quite a bit in that lending, and probably a driver in terms of that rate difference. And then the last sort of stat on that is the average declined at one bank, but then approved with the other banks. So that's where the first bank, and typically your own bank, declines your initial request. And we can see actually very good that's down. So we can see that the banks are holding on to their customers, their own customers, and improvement of them approving the first time around in that space. So that's sort of a view on what we're currently seeing in the market. Definitely with all these indicators, we can see a positive upswing. And I think that really gets me excited. And then the big million dollar question is, what will this market do going forward? And we are very happy with where it's now, but what will it do going forward? So I'm going to show you this slide. I say it with a little bit of caution. This is really a prediction that we're trying to make at the moment to see where this will end. And I'll give you three sort of scenarios where we think this market could go to. So you can see up until June is the actual numbers. This light blue line is our low case scenario. That's saying that volumes will go back to normal volumes that we all know. So we don't think it will drop below that. We think this low interest rate environment and what first-time buyers are doing will probably at the low end get back to volumes that we were used to against 2019 and last year. Then we have a mid sort of view that's saying volumes will not remain at this very high level that we are currently seeing it, but there will be a sort of an overall growth of about 15% year on year in terms of the real estate market. And that's that blue line, that middle blue line that you can see there, just around our numbers, and that sort of follows the trend there. And then the high road, which I think we'll all be hoping for, is where we see this demand continue at this sort of pace that we're currently seeing it. And there we're increasing the demand sort of in line with what we are at 40%. And sort of towards for the first 6 months, and we don't think it will stay there, but and then going back to a 15% year-on-year increase, sort of in line with that blue line. That's why those lines are crossing there at the moment. And that's the sort of three scenarios that we're currently playing. Now, these numbers do change quite often. We review these numbers as we get new data on a weekly basis and around this market is performing. But I think, sort of just to end, and before I give over quickly to Stephen to give you a bit of an exciting competition that we're also launching this time, is that we think this market will remain quite strong, at least at the levels that we're used to. And I think, Adrian had a view earlier on where he put up a slide which said, is 2020 going to be our best year? Well, there's a possibility, especially when we look at the volumes that we're currently doing. That's all from my side. I hope you find that interesting. I'm going to give over to Stephen, who's going to talk to you quickly about, in line with Adrian's comment earlier around the little competition that we want to launch with all of you.
Good morning, everyone is doing well. Thank you, Adrian. Hopefully I'm coming through and the sound is fine. So we have another incentive that we've tried to align with the one that Remax South Africa are running. So this incentive will be to the total value of 25,000. We have 3 winners, first, second, and third, and we've split the money based on 15, 6, and 4,000. And how we'll do it is we'll run it from the 1st of August until the 30th of November. And it will be based on the highest average OTP count to BetterBond per agent. So we provided a few examples just so that it makes sense. In branch A, for example, if there were a 15 agent count in branch A, total number of OTPs for that branch over the period would then work out to an average of OTPs per agent of 1. And then branch B, which would take the winning first prize in this category, or in this example, would be if you were to have a total of 25 agents, and in that specific branch, a total of 125 OTPs were sold or provided to BetterBond over the period. That would then give you an average OTP count per agent at 5. And I think example 3 explains itself as well. So in this particular example, branch B would win first prize, branch C would win second prize, and branch A would win third prize. And that's how we'll do it. I have a feeling we'll most probably have to go down to decimals, and it won't just be as simple as 1, 2, and 5, or 3 or 4. And we'll have to then, and what we'll do is we'll announce each month where we stand in terms of the winning branches, in terms of number of OTPs per agents to BetterBond. And that's a total of 25,000, and it will be paid and announced by the 15th of December. Thank you, Cole. Thank you, Adrian.
Thanks very much, Stephen. Yeah, and that's it all from our side, guys. And just from Stephen and myself, thank you very much for your support during this time. We truly appreciate it. If there's anything we can do, to make it easier for you, please just give us a ring, give your RM a ring, your consultant. We, endeavor to give you our best possible service as we move into this sort of world where we hope it's going to get much better than what it was in the past. So thank you very much.
Cool. Thanks, Carl. Thanks, Stephen. Appreciate it. Yeah, so there's an opportunity there even to take some of that money and go and blow it at the casino. I mean, to take some of that money and maybe go to the R4 convention as well. So I'm going to get back to sharing my screen, if that's okay. And Carl and Stephen, if I could ask you to mute your mics, that would be awesome. Just that the video doesn't change. But let me show you what our team is doing currently. I mean, they have been doing a lot in the last few months, but this is more important, the things that they're doing right now and things that you can use. So they asked me to share with you. So let's start with marketing. So they changed a lot of the marketing collateral. We had set stuff for the year in terms of, the things that we wanted to bring out, but COVID decided to change the course for us a little bit. So a lot of the imagery change and the wording change. And we felt this was quite apt, particularly these two, some of these were email signatures even that were done, but certainly a lot of these are Facebook, social media type posts and advertising type of material. And these actually remind me of something, these two specifically. I remember it was end of April, and Brian Buffini was doing a session that I was watching. And what he said was so true. He said, you know what, at the end of this lockdown, and they were in lockdown in California, at the end of this lockdown, you're going to know whether your house is your castle or whether it's a place you need to escape from. And I don't know if, luckily we moved into a new place. We're happy with our place, but I can only think that for a lot of people that are staying in their homes have got to that point now and gone, you know what, I actually need maybe a little bit more elbow room, or I wish I had a garden, or I wish ... And you're in the trenches, you see stuff before I see it, we see it before the economists, etc., see it. But I think you're going to start seeing some changing purchasing patterns and it already has started over the next while. I mean, our PR lady, Kayla, she falls into the, I don't even know if it's millennials, but it's sort of millennials category. And she was even saying, some of her friends who bought in the city of, or were renting rather, in the city of Cape Town for locality are now even thinking, well, if this is a new way of working, maybe I don't need to stay in the city, I can move back to the burbs. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next while. And for those operating along the coastline, or maybe it's an extra opportunity for you as well, because, the businessman that previously used to fly up on a Monday to Joburg and back home on a Thursday night to see his family every week, maybe only needs to do that once every 2 months and can afford to stay permanently on the coast. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see what will happen over the next while. But we changed some of the marketing collateral to be in line with some of these new changes as well. And we hope you're using it, even down to rentals. You know, it was coming up to, again, the same thing, right? Are you happy with your space, looking for something else? Well, we gave some marketing material that you can use in the rental space as well. So I told you I ran out of material for Daily Dose. That's not a joke. I did run out, but also I stopped on the 3rd of June to, again, just to get out of people's way. That truly was the intention, just to have you and your sales associates focus on what you're good at. And you did that, but there were a few requests to bring something back. So I've been doing something on a weekly basis. It's nothing major. It's just a little bit of inspiration or a little skills thing that I'll pick up along the way. Again, I encourage you to do it with your sales associates. You know, once a week. You don't have to do the whole video thing. You can even find something on YouTube. I mean, do it like me, the lazy way. You know, go find a talk that Oprah did and then make it your own and save it and send it. But just something that comes from you becomes a more personable thing to do with your people. I mentioned earlier the more reasons to choose Remax. So the document is there, it's sitting on the hub. But what we've been doing with that, you've probably noticed, but what we've been doing with that is taking elements of it, right? It's a big book. Well, it's not a book, but it's an online book. It's a big document. And we've been taking elements of that and pushing it out. So naturally, this is a recruiting-based thing. It's the highlights of Remax and what it has. So please do use that, certainly in line with the recruiting competition that's currently in play. This is just another example of some of the material that we've brought out. That is true though, isn't it? I mean, the power of our network really is our network. I say it all the time, the power of the brand is only as good as the people that are in it. So that, I mean, that absolutely is true. So we're sitting in August at the moment, so it would be relevant to talk about this. It was National Women's Day. Today's the 11th, 2 days ago. We've had the public holiday yesterday. And right now it's very topical, obviously. Every year it is, but I think even more so now with what's transpired, certainly in South Africa with gender-based violence, not just against women, but children as well. And it's something that we certainly want to highlight this month and bring attention to, more so than just putting a couple of flyers out there. So we've celebrated some of our leaders in industry, female leaders in industry inside of Remax, and have been promoting them. I can tell you as well that the time out with Remax that's coming in a couple of weeks' time, the last Thursday of the month, is going to be a talk by Gavin Sharples. He's going to be talking about a book called The Real Manual. M-A-N in caps, The Real Manual. And you might go, but why would you talk about that in Women's Month? Well, the book he's written, and as corny and as cheesy as this sounds, it literally is a manual for young boys, for young men, on how to behave, how to treat women, how to interact, how to dress, how to come across and be a real man. You will, and the intention with this is to try to nip it in the bud when the kids are at an influential age. So he's going to be talking about that. If you follow him on Facebook, you would have seen a really emotional talk that he did on this. And I thought it was pertinent to do that in this month of August, to focus on that element, because that's actually where it starts. It starts with men. It starts with men being proper men. And how do you influence that? You influence that when they're moldable, when they're still young men. So look out for that. But yes, absolutely, in Women's Month, we're focusing on some of our overachievers inside of Remax. I was told to share with you that there is so much stuff sitting on the hub and on the CRM, you know, from the fun stuff, the thank yous, the anniversaries, the birthdays, the congratulations on your new baby. I mean, there's just so much stuff there. All I'm going to say is hop on, go use it. Your agents may not know it's there. In fact, most times they don't, because, you know, they don't read the mail. And a lot of you don't either. And that's okay. That's why we do sessions like this. So you need to point it out to them. You need to hop on the hub, or when you're doing maybe even you're doing a next training session or a next meeting, just share the slide with them. I'm going to be sharing all these slides, and I'm going to be sharing the talk with you, so you can insert stuff, you know, when you next talk to your sales associate. So that's all there. The PhotoFi app. So for those that don't know what this is, go check it out, please. You'll find it in the online stores of, I almost said BlackBerry, of iPhone and Samsung, etc. But you'll find the PhotoFi app. The first month or two, I believe, is free. Some of these things that you'll see sometimes Vicky posts or a team posts or an I post. It's a little social media post that takes literally 30 seconds to create using this PhotoFi app that your sales associates can use, that you can use, and it looks really professional. So go and play with it, please. If you want a webinar, see, Vicky, I remember to tell them, if you want a webinar or training session on this, we can do that. Probably the best way to do that is to let your business development consultant know. They can collate names, etc., and then we can organize a webinar. So if you want that, also on this product, and we can actually get the distributors, I think that's the right word, of Box Brownie to do a webinar. Just a quick show of hands. Anybody heard of Box Brownie? A couple of you. So Box Brownie is a virtual staging company. So you look at those two photos there. There's nothing too bad with the photo, I suppose. The one at the bottom has got a little bit too much stuff hanging around. Often that happens. You're in a hurry with a photo shoot for argument's sake, but you want to make it look more professional. What Box Brownie does, and obviously there's a charge, and you'll have to get in contact with them for pricing and all that. But they can take those same photos and turn it into this. So they have the editing suite to, for example, take the top one and turn it from day to dusk, make it look a lot more impressive. The bottom one, they will hide, for example, all the extra items and unwanted items to make your photos and your sales associates' photos look that much more professional. Now, they can do a lot more, but I think in South Africa, we just need to watch. I mean, they could put a pool in there in that first house. But I wouldn't advocate doing that because that's false advertising unless you disclose it. So they can actually make a house or a home look any way you want it to look with inside very few limitations, actually. But just be careful about adding things and taking things away because there needs to be disclosure around that. But when it comes to making these photos look a bit better, Box Brownie can do that. Same thing, if you want a webinar, contact your business development consultant and we can set something up if you want to check it out or even trial it, perhaps. We ran a Remax collection luxury course, so it's the luxury live designation on the 29th and 30th of June, and there were about 5 or 6 agents that did that. Johan, Jerry, Francois, Warren, and Gregor, who are now certified as, I forget the exact term, but luxury agents. So Remax collection designated luxury agents. So that I'm sure will come up again in the future. So look out for that and just look for comms from either our marketing team or our events team when that may happen. It's an international designation. Events and training. So we went into lockdown and went, oh, well, there's nothing happening on the event side and probably very little on the training side. So our team's going to be not going to be very busy. Well, we got that one pretty much wrong. Because there was a ton of stuff happening in that space. Some of it was new and introduced because I felt that we needed to get some training and skills back into the system and push it and deliver stuff, continue to deliver stuff. Excuse me one sec. And to continue to deliver stuff. In fact, what we said was, just because we're in lockdown and just because we can't get out there shouldn't mean that we don't continue to fulfill our promises. And that's what we wanted to do where humanly possible, is continue to fulfill our promises. So this was new training that we did. It was the Millionaires training with Grant. Just over 160 agents went through that. And certainly they seem to have reaped the benefits from that. And we'll probably have a follow on that in a couple of months' time as well. We did the time out with Remax. I've already spoken about that. So our events team got stuck into, it's not easy to source these people, and some of them, we negotiated quite hard. We're not paying the 25 and 30,000 that they all asked for. We negotiated really hard and begged and pleaded and borrowed and stealed where we could to get some of these people to do the talks. But, and that's our events team that were putting that together in the background. They also coordinated, while Anthe did the training, they coordinated the CDPA course. And by the end of this, by the end of September, we will have had about 260 to 270 agents that would have gone through it. There's already 140 that have, but by then about 260 agents that would have gone through it. Why is this important? Because I think you know what's coming in South Africa from an economical perspective and from a distressed property point of view. And that's why it's really important, this particular part of our business, certainly in the next few months, with things like UIF and TERS and economic relief all running out and coming to an end now. The net effect of that is only going to be felt September, October, November, and onwards. So I'm going to move on from that. That's just a graph of the people that went through it, or the number of people that went through it. What else are we planning online? Well, a lot more training. In fact, we did a whole lot of training online. I'll talk about that in a sec, but more training in that space. We're provisionally scheduling a sales rally in September. So more on that later. We'll give you the dates well in advance, but we're going to be trying to do something late in September, a sales rally for all your agents to attend in this format. We're going to have the Remax Premier Club. We've pushed out. It's scheduled for later this year in November because we lost the 2 months, right? So instead of doing it September, we're pushing it out. Also, unfortunately, not going to be a physical event, but it'll be in this sort of format and awards-based, and we'll have a guest speaker and all that sort of fun stuff that comes with it. The awards thresholds, I'm going to go through in just a moment, but those have been adjusted for this year, also in line with 2 months worth of lost productivity. So I'm going to show you what those thresholds have been adjusted to. And yeah, we are looking at doing a broker owner / manager convention in 2021, but there'll be more details on that later. So I was told to also tell you that we still have branded stock for those that want, and we can ship stuff out to you, I believe. So there you have it. I'm not going to go through all of them because you're going to get this PowerPoint later, but there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can still order to give to your clients, or just for you and your agents to use. And then this year, that's still part of events. It's not one that we've organized, but the Broker Owner Convention is next week. It's next week, Monday and Tuesday, and you can still register for it. And I really want to encourage you to do it. You know, I understand it like anybody else. To get to the States, one, takes forever. And I know Pelham Henwood's on this call, and he's definitely nodding his head right now because he had a nightmare trip a few years ago. So it's a long way to go, and it's hell of an expensive. So here is an opportunity to tap into the same speakers, the same content. You have an opportunity to engage. It is not a Zoom call. I want to point out, this is a Zoom call, right? Where you're all watching me talk, basically. On the Broker Owner Convention, they use a specific type of platform that allows you to engage with people around you, almost like an avatar, where you'll actually see people walking. You won't see the actual people, but you'll see their avatars walking around. You'll be able to break away into different rooms. So you don't have to watch, you know, Adrian or Adam or Dave talking here. You can slip away and go into the commercial room, or go into the developments room, or whatever it may be. So I don't know if this will come around again. So, and it's $99. I mean, you know, the investment is pretty low for what you get back. So hop on there, check it out, Broker Owner Convention. You need to register before Monday, because Monday is when it kicks off. And I stand to be corrected, but I think it's $99. I might be slightly out, but go check that out. Technology. Well, we had to keep the lights on, and certainly from a tech space, we did more than keep the lights on. Check at this. Your CRM activity, your agents, went through the roof. Why? Because they had nothing else to do. They were sitting at home. No, that's a joke. We obviously had a big drive and focus on this, and have over the last couple of years. But the CRM activity went through the roof during that lockdown period. 95% increase in number of contacts added, and 160% increase in terms of usage, i.e. emails sent using the CRM. So, which is great. That means your agents were working during that time. They're staying in touch with their clients, and they were actually listening to what you said, you know, the Buffini principles and similar principles to that. And what that meant was that our IT guys were hell of a busy during that period. So this is their support, right? In the first couple of months, yeah, they were relatively busy, and then it just spiked through that period. But fortunately, the guys are still maintaining a really high satisfaction level. More than 9 in 10 people give them a big thumbs up. So well done to the tech team. So they haven't been sitting on their hands either. In fact, they've been working flipping hard. With the Remax listing management, we've had to pull the handbrake up in March and just assess what we were going to do, what we're going to focus on and not in each of the departments, but specifically in technology because it was sort of mid-project. Well, as of last week, they had migrated during that period 92 offices onto the new Remax listing management system. And the first 3 offices are already running a pilot on the deals section of that. And they've already done the integration with the other providers, LexisNexis, E4, Legal Suite, BetterBond, etc., from an integration point of view. So for the guys to have merged just almost 100 offices during a lockdown period where they can't go and visit you, to be honest, is pretty phenomenal. So we're still steaming ahead in that regard. And I'm sure Stefan and his team will be in touch with you if you're one of the offices that haven't been converted yet. They revamped the online training platform. So I spoke earlier about training, and we put out a whole host of training from law to skills to soft skills, etc. And it's all sitting on this platform that they've now also revamped to make it a lot easier to use. I want to punt this though, because we look at the usage of the training and it's not where I'd hoped it would be. There's a lot there that the brokers and agents have asked for, but the only way that they'll use it is if you guys drive it. So I want to encourage you to go check it out. If you're not sure, don't worry. Just ask one of the business development consultants and we'll walk you through it like this. We'll walk you through it in Zoom and take you through all the steps so that you could show your agents, or even better, get them to show your agents if you want. To run a little 15-minute session and they'll show the agents where to find the stuff. But IT team redid that. They've also done a new marketing activity report to make it a little bit easier on the eyes. So that they've done through this period. We've created new Design Hub templates. It is being added soon, so probably within the next week or so, these new designs will be sitting on that Design Hub as well, which the IT team has done. What else have they done? COVID-19 screening forms, electronic ones. So as it says there, I'll just read it as is. COVID-19 screening forms can be sent to clients via the Remax CRM before attending viewings or meetings, and can be sent to existing contacts in your CRM database with a valid mobile number. Where is it? In the Remax Hub, so you can go check that out. They've been created that for ease of use as well. And this you should already know, but they asked me to punt it again because not many people are using business cards at the moment, a digital business card, and it's free. So you may as well promote this to your sales associates to use these digital business cards that is free to use inside of the Remax platform. Again, not sure, ask your business development consultant. So PR, quickly. Public relations, well, no, maybe not quickly. I think this is probably where we should pause a little bit because this has been, again, off the charts. And probably a huge thanks, obviously, to Kayla and her team and to Vicky and the marketing team and so on, but also to you guys because you're the ones that help us with the content. So have a look at this. This was just July. This is what the share of voice online. So it's all the PR stuff, not advertising, just PR related editorial stuff that's punted out online, which is where most people are looking right now. Remax makes up more than half. And in fact, more than 1 in 2 real estate related articles online in July were Remax, and the rest was everyone else. I mean, that's monstrous. And if you take it over the whole year, it's still huge. Over the whole year, Jan, July, Remax makes up 40%. 4 in 10 real estate related articles has got Remax in it or quoted in it, or it's a complete Remax article. So very impressed with that. And hopefully that has translated into premier market presence in your environment as well. Social media, we at the beginning of the year employed someone specifically in that space to focus on social media. It's one of those things we could always grow and we'll always continue to grow, but pretty much in every area we have grown this year. So that strategy is working, and something that hopefully you guys are doing and have a strategy towards as well. I'm not going to go through all the numbers because you can do that in your own time. Lead gen, which is mainly the distressed properties, which I want to talk about. Anthea said that she's heard your requests and they've designed a few social media posts. You'll find them in the Remax Hub, and they look like this. I'm not going to play the video because it's going to link me away to YouTube, but there is a CDPA video. It's actually a really good video that you can send to your agents, who can use it with their clients, as well as a whole bunch of flyers, right? Carousel ads on Facebook and Instagram. You can tell I'm not an Instagram user because I call it Instagram, not like my kids that call it Insta. But there's a whole lot of marketing material there. There's a whole lot of social posts for you to use. There's 3 different messages on, for example, each one of those posts. There's email signatures. And, you know, we've been putting a lot of emphasis on this because, like I said earlier, we anticipate what's coming. The wave hasn't hit yet, but it will. What I mean by the wave is the wave of distressed properties being pushed into the market and obviously distributed to different agencies. But we do anticipate that increasing come September, October, November and onwards, which is why we've done this training. So Anthea's done about 18 days worth of training over the past 2 months. And we anticipate training another 140 people over the next month as well. So if you want to do the CDPA training, who do you have to contact? Your business development consultant can put you in touch. Otherwise, I'm sure you can email our events team or Anthea as well, and they'll redirect you. Remax Foundation. So we've also been doing what we can more from an awareness perspective in the Remax Foundation with various initiatives and things that have happened during this period. One of those was the Mandela Day. So we did the whole promoted the 67 minutes of doing something in your community or donating something. For those officers that contributed through the foundation, thank you. There was roughly 24,000 Rand raised. Some of you did your own thing, and that's great as well. And it's not all about money, it's just about doing something in the community. I stupidly agreed to John DeMello to do sit-ups and push-ups, and I couldn't sit up for a week after that. But anyway, managed to raise 5,000 Rand towards it. Please don't nominate me for things like that in the future because I feel under pressure to do it and I might not be able to, and then that's not good for the ego or anything. So we also still pushing the coats and cans. And a lot of your offices hopefully have started, because I know Cape Town is cold and wet. Joburg has been extremely cold. So a lot of your offices have been running that. Thanks for doing that, and something will continue. I mean, it's a sort of synonymous with Remax now, so something we'll continue to do. Upcoming campaigns, awareness of breast cancer. You've got Movember coming up in November. The answer is no to the next question. And we've got the National Toy and Book Drive. Ricky Jacobs wins Movember, by the way, hands down. He doesn't even have to try. So whatever prize, Sandy, just send it on to Toti. We're all good. But we also got the National Toy and Book Drive coming up at the end of the year as well. So those are 3 campaigns. You all know them. You can tag into them, but we'll promote them closer to the time. Then moving into the home stretch here, from a franchise compliance point of view, Poppy is very much front and center at the moment. And some of you are probably asking questions about what you must do and what things you need to put in place. Some of you probably have already done the research, which is great. I want to let you know that there are 2 training videos specifically on Poppy currently in the e-learning center. So you might want to, you need to start there. So hop onto the e-learning center. You probably need to subscribe to email the events team to get access to it. But check out those 2 Poppy videos, which is sort of a high level training on Poppy and things that need to be put in place. And then we have scheduled an online training and more really questions and answers. It'll be more interactive. So it'll be interactive. This isn't interactive. This is sort of one way, but it'll be an interactive session on the 2nd of September, and it'll be run by Ulrich Strandvik from Gunston Strandvik Attorneys. So the best way to do that is not to ask all the questions necessarily on the day. How about questions that you want answered? Why not send that now to your business development consultants? Again, they'll collate it, send it through to Ulrich. So when he does the training, he can answer those on the fly and he's prepared for it. And anything that you might not have asked, you can then ask on the day. So go check out the 2 Poppy videos on the e-learning first, and then ask the questions you want asked, and make sure you register for that training on the 2nd of September. Our events team, if they haven't already, will send out an email in that regard. And then there were some questions around this, because our esteemed regulator, the Estate Agency Affairs Board, apparently forgot to or omitted to renew professional indemnity for the industry in 2017, and for 2 years, those that didn't have professional indemnity in the private capacity in place simply didn't have it because they hadn't renewed. So there were questions raised, well, where does this leave Remax? We have professional indemnity insurance in place. Every month, you pay for your agents, or they pay through you, 35 Rand a month, which covers your agents for 10 million Rands worth of professional indemnity cover per claim. So it's way over and above what the EAB have put in place. So there's no need to concern yourself. You do all have a PI cover in place. And then awards and recognition. I said that the thresholds have changed, and we felt that we weren't sure what to change it to a couple of months ago, but we think we've got a good feeling for this now. So we have made changes to those. Only the annual clubs. We're not changing the career awards. It'll be a nightmare to try and calculate that. But certainly for this year, we have changed the silver 100% all the way through to double diamond. Obviously, we haven't changed the millionaires club. It's a bit hard to change the millionaire. Well, it's a million, so it is what it is. But we've changed all the other clubs slightly downwards so that, I guess that it's fair. That's what we were trying to achieve. And we did work it out mathematically. We were in lockdown for 2 months, and it works out to roughly 2.5-ish months worth of change or reduction in the numbers. What we tried to do was project how many people we'd have in the categories and try to make it a similar number to last year. Hopefully that makes sense. And that's how we got to these numbers. Internationally, I wanted to let you know that there are a couple of new awards, that categories that they've brought out. One of those is the Career Award, the Pinnacle Award, which is $2 million US, which is like a lot of money. But 2 million US earned in your career gets you the Pinnacle Award from an international point of view. And they've also brought out the Remax Paramount of Excellence. I think they're running out of names. People are earning so much money, they're running out of names to call all these awards. But Remax Paramount of Excellence. Basically, if you get this in South Africa, then you're not on the call because you own Zoom, okay? Because it's 30 million US dollars in commission. Dollars and 30 years in Remax. So I guess we have to wait 5 years anyway before someone gets it. But 30 million years is like, that's next level. In fact, that's not next level, that's a whole lot of levels. They've also brought out some teams and individual categories, the top 100, top 50, and top 25. So look out for that. They've got their own criteria for that. So you'll probably have to hop onto Max Center to check it out because they split it into individuals and into teams and into big teams and small teams. I can tell you now, in South Africa, we're not going down that road. It is far too confusing for us to put that together. But internationally, they do have those different categories of the top 100s, 50s, and 25s. And we've done similarly with the office thresholds, the Chairman's Club thresholds. We've adjusted them all slightly downwards, where previously the double diamond, I stand to be corrected, I think it was 50, so it's now 40. And similarly, it's come slightly down all the way through. Again, just to make it fair on officers. So that will begin now in this August month. So at the end of August, you'll see a whole realignment or readjustment of officers in categories and agents in award categories and so forth. And then something exciting, something old and something new. The Remax Premier Club has now been running for a few years, and we just felt it was the right time and opportunity to relaunch it, but to relaunch it in a different way. And what we're doing is the Remax Premier Club is going to be in November. I can't give you the date yet, but we will shortly. And we've changed the name to the Remax Stars. So it's similar event, similar award thresholds, etc. In fact, we changed the award threshold for this year again. It's 600,000 as opposed to, I think it was 900,000 originally. But we've changed the name, changed the logo and the design. We think it works really well. Stars actually stands for something in this respect: skill, tenacity, ambition, resilience, and success. And the people that fall into this category definitely would have shown that if they had earned 600,000 Rand and more in the year 2020, because this is a watershed year and certainly stands out from everything else. So we thought it was a great time to relaunch something. So the Remax Stars replaces the Remax Premier Club, and the first event will be in November. I don't have like a fan club, or I'll just clap for everybody else. Okay, there we go. Right. And now I have to do the clapping for you as well, because we thought we'd end with some awards. I know you guys and ladies are so competitive that if I didn't put this up, you'd moan. So we're putting it up, okay? And then we're going to send it out on the Insider Report. So we look at the top 10 brokers and office awards. And I'm going to start with, I'm not going to go 10, 9, 8, 7, because it'll be a bit of an anticlimax with only me clapping here. But I'm going to start with the top 10 brokers nationally, and it's based on registered commissions. So they are your top brokers by commission from 4 through 10. Well done to each of you. Congratulations. And this is up until the end of July, by the way. So it's the numbers up until and including the end of July. And then in third place, we've got Lance Herold from Remax Masters at Weltevreden Park. In second place, Kirby Potgieter from Remax Independent Properties in Lorraine. And in first place, Mariette Kloppers, Remax Infoglobe, Pretoria East. So well done to you guys. Excellent. If you've got for those that want to, on your Zoom at the bottom, you've got that reactions thing. You can go crazy there, do whatever you want, clap hands, thumbs up, whatever, so they can see that you're there, that you recognize it. All right, I want to go, well done, there we go. So I want to go into the top 5, I want to go into offices now, the top 5 single offices. Top 5 single offices nationally in 2 through 5, Jawek Premier first in 2000. Well done to you guys, that's excellent. In first place up until end of July is Remax Dazzle, Kempton Park. So well done to Neville and Cindy and the team there, a great achievement, and to all your sales associates as well, congrats. Top 5 multi-offices. If you look at the top 5 multi-offices, again, I'm looking at the national picture, it looks like this. From 2nd through 5th, you got Remax Masters, Remax Property Associates, Remax Infoglobe, and Remax Panache. And in first place, Remax Living. Well done to Galinda, Neville, and Susan. And again, to all the sales associates that represent all those 5 offices. It's an interesting year, this one, because it's going to be interesting how the deeds office works. And I think you might see fluctuations all year long with respect to which deeds office stays open the longest. So it's going to be a fun year in that respect. So let's look at the top offices from a regional point of view. So you've seen the national picture. Let me go quickly. Central region, well done. Remax Dazzle in first place, and then Infoglobe, Masters, Town and Country, and Masters again. And again, it's those specific offices in those areas or suburbs. So well done to all of you. In the Eastern Cape and Garden Route, it looks like this. The Independent Properties Lorraine office in first place. Well done, Kirby and team. And then Remax Border, the Bay Beachfront office, the Outeniqua office, and the Frontier office, 1 through 5. So congratulations to you guys. And in Vrystaat, Barret and Winter Biocotis. In first place, Remax first in Bloemfontein. Veel geluk aan julle almal. Tweede, Remax Kalahari and Katu. Derde, Remax Diamond Kimberley. And now some of you are thinking, I didn't know he spoke Afrikaans, and I do. Remax Property Specialists in Postmasburg, geluk. And Remax Kalahari and Kuruman. Well done to all of you guys, and specifically to the team in Bloemies. International region, our top international region comes from Gaborone, and that's Remax Property Specialists. So well done, Trish and team. And in second and third place, you can see there it's the guys from Swaziland Real Estate Specialists and Dynamic in Windhoek. And then KZN, first place, you got Remax Panache, the Lalusha office, and then Dolphin Realtors in Bolito, Midlands in Maritzburg, Address in the Upper Highway, and Toti in fifth place. Well done to all of you. Congratulations, guys, and congratulations to, again, I'm saying it to you, but hopefully you do pass it on to all your sales associates. It's, again, phenomenal what everybody has done despite the circumstances that you all find yourselves in at the moment. And then the Northern region in first place, Glen Norton and Lily with Remax Platinum and Rustenburg. Well done to you guys. In second place, Northland Realty, then Horizon, then Legacy, and then Exclusive. Well done to all of you and all your sales associates. truly impressive. Congrats. And then I think last but not least, it's the Western and Northern Cape region. In first place, Remax Property Associates Tableview. Well done to Karen, Jose, and team. And then Remax Living Gardens, the Premier office, Helderberg office, and then the Living Sea Point office, first 1 through 5. So congratulations to all of you. I can't find my emotion thing, otherwise I'll just clap. Okay, I'll do that. Sounds really lame with one person clapping, but there you go. All right. So congratulations to all of you, and hopefully the next few months tick up even more significantly from there. Certainly when I look at your sales numbers, I think that's what you can expect. I do, whoops, going the wrong way. I do think the one thing you can expect though, and not to throw shade on all the successes at the moment, but the one thing you can expect is that it will still be tough for the rest of this year and probably for the early part of next year. I mentioned some reasons already: UIF, economic relief, and TERS running out. The country was already on the back foot when we went into the pandemic, so it's not going to be plain sailing running through to the end of this year. But inside of that, there's still opportunity, and inside of that, you have already been operating. You've already been operating in that space, and you've already shown that success. So I want to encourage you, just like I said about 45 minutes ago, to continue to look not just at where you will save and cut, but to take the blinkers off and look at growth, because as difficult as it's going to be, there are going to be opportunities that present themselves, and you need to be ready to take advantage of those opportunities. Offices that are closing, competitors that are closing, agents that potentially need to find a new home. At the end of this pandemic, the last man standing is the one that will reap the benefits. So, and I believe that person is going to be you, because I've seen the tenacity through our Remax, in our Remax brokers. In fact, this yesterday's Millionaire Monday, I can't remember if it was launched yesterday or this morning, but the Millionaire Monday talk I did was on grit. I don't usually promote it and tell you to go check it out, but that's one I would actually recommend you go check out. It's a talk on grit and tenacity, and it's something that I think your sales associates probably need to see, and a lot of us need to see. So here's the thing. Leslie Dwight said, don't ask me who Leslie Dwight is, it just was a great quote, so I thought I'd use it. What if 2020, because some people have been talking about, we should just cancel 2020, just write it off and skip and go through to next year. But what if 2020 isn't canceled? What if 2020 is the year we have actually been waiting for? A year that's so uncomfortable, so painful, so scary, so raw, that it finally forces us to grow. A year that screams so loud, finally awaking us from an ignorant slumber. A year we finally accept the need for change, declare change, work for change, become the change. A year we finally band together instead of pushing each other further apart. 2020 isn't cancelled, but rather the most important year of them all. Which brings me back to my original question. What if in 2020, everyone had their best year ever, and they could put their photo in that block on the right-hand side? And I believe that you can, because you've shown that to be true already. We just need to keep pushing, because we can't go backwards. We can only go forwards. Keep pushing, keep driving, keep motivating and inspiring your people, and keep doing what you're doing, because you guys continue, you and your agents continue to impress me every single day. So a couple of thank yous. A huge thank you to Carl and to Stephen for your contribution to this. I want to say a massive thank you to my team, because I haven't had an opportunity to thank them in front of all of you. So to my team at Remax SA for carrying me certainly through this whole period, and hopefully some of your sales associates and you brokers as well. And then lastly, but not least, a big thank you to all the broker owners in the Remax network for the leadership, the tenacity, the grit, and the resilience that you've shown through this period. I can only wish you the best for the months ahead, certainly through the end of this year. But this won't be the last time you hear from me. I think we'll do a few more of these sessions in the future. I'll just make them a lot shorter, a few more informational sessions. I look forward to catching up with you all soon. Cheers, everybody, and have a great day and have a great rest of your week. Bye.